and welcome to the Nerdy D Wrestling Podcast Monday edition. It is September 6, 2021, one night removed from the AEW All Out pay-per-view. I am your host, Nerdy D, aka the heavyweight gaming champion of the world. And joining me tonight is my valet through this podcast ring, Level Up Lauren.
What's up, y'all?
Each and every week, I give my hot takes on the world of wrestling. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to one of our social media channels, TikTok at Nerdy D, YouTube at Nerdy D, or on all major podcast networks. Just search the Nerdy D Podcast. I want to start out by giving a shout out to our fan of the week. Okay, this is a new segment I'm gonna be doing.
All right.
Fan of the week, and this week there's only really one person who can deserve fan of the week, right off the back. He has been loyal, hardcore. He literally, I think he went through our whole catalog of content. Okay, and that is my one and only Fantonio. Okay, yeah. Fantonio made sure to go through every Nerdy D video that exists about wrestling and tell me how wrong I am about everything I've ever talked about.
Okay,
even though everything I say is literally an opinion and can't be right or wrong, he wanted to let me know that I was hurting the wrestling community with my opinions. That I'm I think WWE hater is what he said.
Okay.
A WWE hater, even though I've gone on record numerous times as being a big fan of the Friday Night SmackDown.
Yes.
Big fan of the Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Extremely big fan of the Seth Rollins. But I'm a WWE hater. Okay? Now I've openly admitted AEW fanboy right now.
All right.
We're going to get into that in a little bit. I've sobered up a little bit after the pay-per-view last night. I've sobered up a little bit. I'm no longer looking at AEW through rose-colored glasses. I see some problems there. But we'll get into that in a minute. Just a special secondary shout out to my guy Juan, who we went back and forth for a hot minute, but in the end, he told me we are besties for the resties.
All right.
Okay, so Juan now.
I liked that.
Me and Juan are besties for the resties, and I'm good with that because that shows that we can argue, we can talk shit back and forth, and at the end of the day, we could come together and be best friends.
Yes, sir.
I don't always need to be right. In fact, a lot of times I'm wrong, but that's not going to stop me from getting on this microphone and speaking my wrestling truths, okay?
All right.
All right, so like I said, I had a sobering moment last night during the AEW basketball. During the AEW All Out pay-per-view. There was definitely a lot that I loved about the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I think we both had very good feelings as the show went off the air, but there's quite a few things that I came to see that there are problems within AEW. I think that I initially was excited, it was new, it was fresh, and now that I've watched it, and this is my first AEW pay-per-view that I've watched, I now can see there's a lot of the same issues that I criticized WWE about, they exist within AEW. Yeah. So let's start out with the positive things that I saw from AEW All Out last night. Okay. Number one, I want to know, can we just change all Royal Rumble formats to the format that AEW used last night? I don't know if this is consistent with all of the battle royals that AEW have done since AEW has been in existence, but the coming out 5 at a time, way less exhausting.
Epic,
for a battle royal.
Epic.
Way less exhausting. We get to see everybody we want to see. We just see them a lot faster. Going through 30 combatants like 2 minutes at a time is just a waste of time because there's always about 25 that we know have zero chance to win.
Yeah.
Now, same thing, very formulaic in that the last person to come out was Ruby Soho, which I'll get to in a minute, but still the same formulaic problem with all Royal Rumbles is the last person that comes out has this high probability to win, and when it's a surprise entrant, kind of like the rest of the match is kind of just filler for Ruby Soho to come out. So, but I would love for the Royal Rumble to go down like that. 5 people at a time. Let's get people out there that don't matter. Let's get them out there. Or even if they matter, let's get them out there and get them fighting. Because this whole when we get down to there's one person in the ring and we're supposed to believe that everyone that comes out, it's this one-on-one battle and then it's 2-on-1. Let's just get 5 at a time and let's get to the clusterfuck that is a Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah.
A battle royal. I like the just mess of things going on.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so last night was my first time seeing a Young Buck, I think, full experience, right? The Young Bucks.
Yes.
They're fantastic. Best tag team in wrestling
Definitely.
right now. I get it. I get what the hype is behind the Young Bucks. Love them, hate them. They're good in the ring. They made the Lucha Brothers, or I'm not going to say they made the Lucha Brothers look good because the Lucha Brothers looked good as well. But that was a phenomenal cage match. I usually am not a fan of the cage matches, right?
I loved it. At one point, I was like, oh my God, there's blood. Are they okay?
Cage matches, especially because there was a no escape rule in this cage match.
Yeah.
I hate cage matches because I always feel like guys don't escape when they should escape, and then they try to escape when there's no chance to escape, and you want me to believe a bunch of shit that's not believable, right?
100%.
I like that they don't use the door the same way WWE does, because I know if you put me in the ring with Roman Reigns, I can get out that motherfucking door. He's going to have to catch me. I'm going to be running in circles. It's going to be like an old Looney Tunes cartoon. I'm going to go through his legs, run around in circles, and I'm just going to run straight through the fucking door.
Yeah.
I'm just knocking the door down and running, and I'm done. And I'm WWE champion, right?
Yes, sir.
So I liked the fact that there was a no escape rule. I liked the fact that I don't know that I've ever seen a tag team match in a cage. I don't know if I've ever seen it. I'm sure it's happened. I just don't know that. I liked the fact that JR had no fucking clue what was going on in that match.
Yeah, that was me and him are like kind of on the same
Jim
level.
Ross had zero ideas of what the rules were. At one point, Jim Ross goes, I don't know who the legal man is. I'm like, Jim Ross, I don't think they're tagging each other in this match.
I think at one point they said, there aren't any of those rules, bro.
Well, I think he said, this may be being held under the tornado tag team rules. I was like, yeah, no, JR. Pretty much when they started the match and started just fucking each other up, that's what's happening here. So I did like that. I loved it.
Yeah.
What would you got something to say?
I was going to say, I thought it was crazy. Like at the end of the match, you saw the Lucha Brothers and like half of their mask was like pulled off.
Well, because they were tugging on the mask at some point,
agree.
and that was
like,
fun. Everything about that match was fun to me. I have no complaints. I'm sure that somebody could find complaints with that match, but me, as the casual AEW fanboy, I loved everything about it.
My favorite match of the night.
Okay, the Moxley stuff.
Okay.
That seems fun. I have no fucking clue who those guys are. These Japanese and these Japanese New Japan Row and all Japan Row, whatever the fuck the Japanese wrestling's called. I don't know who those guys are. Okay, so to me, I have zero clue if that matters. It seems like people fucking like it and they have fun and they're cheering, and that's great. And Moxley's fun to watch. Kind of a brute in the ring, but I wouldn't necessarily say that's something for me, but it seems like that's for somebody, right?
I mean, people were singing the songs. They knew who those people were.
That's my point. Like hardcore wrestling fans apparently knew who those people are.
Yeah.
And they're hyped up and ready to go, and that's great, right? It's just not for me, but I can look at it and go, it looks like that's entertaining. Mm-hmm. And the wrestling was fun. I mean, it looked good. Now,
Definitely.
The other guy looked like he was about 65 years old. I don't know.
The one with the lines that he's going to fight on Wednesday, right?
No, the first guy he fought looked like he was 65. The second guy looks fucking crazy.
The one with the lines.
The
in
one
his
he's
hair.
fighting on
Wednesday.
Dynamite looks fucking great. Looks like he might murder Moxley.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be a good match. I'm excited for that, right? MJF and Jericho. So going into this match, I wasn't excited. I've said it over and over and over and over and over and over again. I hate the stipulation when Roman Reigns, when Chris Jericho, if I lose this match, I'm done.
Yeah.
I hate that. It's the dumbest gimmick in wrestling, because most of the time, they're not going to lose. Now, they fucking got me. They got me when MJF got that 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. And Jericho's leg was on the rope. I'm like, oh shit, Jericho's gone. Now I thought he was probably taking a tour with Fozzy or something like that, but I thought they did the unexpected. Now,
I told you though.
they did the old switcheroo, and it was weird because I wondered why Hager came running out with the other guy and they got into a fight.
Okay.
And then a referee ran out. That all seemed weird and like miscalculated. And then it was like, oh. It was so the second referee could see what's going on. But now,
Yeah.
are we supposed to believe that like AEW has instant replay? Like the NFL? Are we supposed to believe now that every time a heel cheats, as long as somebody saw it, we can go back and reverse the decision of the match? I don't like that.
Precedent, man.
I don't like it. It does set precedent because this is one of those times where wrestling wants you to go ignore the realism and just enjoy the reality that we gave you. And that's fine. It was fun finish. Jericho comes back, gets the win where Jericho's still here. I don't know what that really, what that does for Jericho. I don't know why it had to be this I leave AEW style match, but I had fun. They got me. They pulled the old switcheroo on me with that. And 100%, I hate the fact that that's now a rule, or maybe that's not a rule. Maybe that rule only pertained to Jericho and MJF.
I'm sure it's just a one-time
MJF is
thing.
good.
I love him.
He's good. I this is my first introduction to MJF the last 5 weeks through the labors of Jericho. Get that guy in the fucking title picture. Get him. What are we doing with MJF? And I'm gonna talk in just a second. Fucking AEW is getting crowded at the top, and it's the same gripe I have with WWE. We're starting to build up a roster of a lot of names here. AEW,
Yeah.
and I don't know how we plan to use all these guys.
Yeah.
Omega and Christian, that was a good match.
I think it was like an expected match.
Well,
it was expected to be
so. I'm going to get to this when I get to my bad points, but by that point in time, I was tired. Okay, so yeah, I'm with you. Omega and Christian was a solid match, right?
Yeah.
Good match. And it was basically, this whole thing was to build up to the final moments of the pay-per-view, which were possibly in the last 4 or 5 years that I've watched wrestling. In my opinion, that was the most excited I've been about wrestling in a long time. When the lights went off and Adam Cole's music popped and he came out, you saw me. I went fucking nuts. Oh, it's not Daniel Bryan. It's Adam Cole.
Yes.
And he came out and they did they got me again, right? Because I thought we're going to get Adam Cole, Kenny Omega. They hit me with the flip, right? They hit me with the switch. Adam Cole is part of the Elite. And of course he is, right? Of course he is, because he fits that whole douchebaggery perfectly.
Yeah.
He's gonna slide right into that, and it just builds for down the line the dissension between the Elite. Adam Cole is probably too good to be the second man, and we're building up for a feud down the line, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole at some point, right? That's all we're doing. Great. I told you on the couch, I said, there's no way now that we get Bryan Danielson. No way. They're not two surprises at the end of this thing. They're not going to do that.
Point.
That music hit. Dun, 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 dun. I lost my shit. Then it's fucking switched into the hip hop beat. Daniel Bryan comes down to the ring, hits him with the flying goat or whatever it's called. And I mean, dude, I lost my shit. This was the best ending to a pay-per-view that I've seen in a long time. Now, I've watched on and off for the last 4 or 5 years, but I'm pretty invested. And this invested me even more into AEW. I'm excited, okay? Now, I got to be realistic, okay? As far as the roster goes in AEW at this point, WWE is in trouble, I think. Now, the machine that is WWE, not in trouble.
Yeah.
Never will be in trouble. I've said this numerous times. The machine that is WWE will never be in trouble. It's the lights, it's the cameras, it's the action. WWE will always be number one. There's no way for AEW to overtake that spot. But there is a consolation prize in wrestling, and that is which brand of wrestling you think is a better product, right? And I think at this point, if you look at the rosters and you put the rosters side by side, right? You take the AEW roster and you take the WWE roster and you put them side by side. AEW roster is need I say far superior at this point, especially at the top, at the top, the fat, right? The juicy meaty part, right?
Yeah.
The AEW's got a more appealing roster to me. Now, I think WWE, I've said this numerous times, if they'd combined Raw and SmackDown and just quit playing this fucking game and just take the best of the best and put them all on one show, then they'd have a competitive roster with AEW. There's enough guys there. But the fact that they break those rosters into two makes zero sense. It should be real simple. You should have Monday Night Raw as the B show at this point, right?
Yes.
And just fill it full of B talent that you need exposure, they need work, they need practice. Let them get out in the ring, let them put on a show. Now, I get it. USA Network's going to fucking hate this, but at some point you got to step up and go, whoever pays the most money gets the better show.
Yeah.
Friday Night SmackDown, put all the big names there, the big guns. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's go back to 2 hours. Let's go 2 hours of just hard hitting fucking wrestling with all the big names and let's do it, right? And then NXT can be your development. I'm all good with that, right? Mm-hmm. But when you look at the top of these rosters, I do believe right now AEW has, name me a better top five right now than Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, MJF, and I'll get to CM Punk. I'm putting him on the list. I have some things I have to talk about CM Punk, but CM Punk, he's still a big draw, okay?
Yeah.
So like I said, I sobered up a little bit with this pay-per-view on AEW. Still a fanboy, 100%. I'm still an AEW fanboy. That hasn't changed. But I'm not looking through rose-colored glasses. I do see the problems, right?
Okay.
Wrestling pay-per-views are just too long.
I could not agree with you more.
They're just too long. If you watch the pre-show, the post-show, the mid-show, the mid-card, the top card, I felt like we were watching for like 7 hours. I know it was probably more in the 4-hour range with the pre-show, but it's too long. Mm-hmm. There is no doubt that the crowd was 100% fatigued by the time we got to Kenny Omega and Christian Cage. The crowd was fatigued. That was a great match, but there just was no energy in the building. Even when we got to CM Punk, it started to feel like the crowd was wearing out. And there's just so many matches. And I'll go with there's a lot on that pay-per-view that doesn't need to be on a pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Number one, Big Show, whatever, Paul Wright has no business being on that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's a perfect match for either Rampage or Dynamite.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that, right? If Malachi Black isn't going to get a spot on the pay-per-view, there's no reason Paul Wright has it. And I get it. I understand the formula of wrestling, right? That's a time filler.
True.
They put that in there because if they're running long, they can shorten it. If they're running short, they can lengthen it and they can fill up the time well. So I get why that's there, but it's still just bad taste in my mouth from that. As fun as Miro and Eddie Kingston was, I don't know that felt like it needed to start the pay-per-view. And I get they're trying to make that TNT title mean something, but so far it hasn't meant anything to me. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you.
So it's two matches I think I could cut.
I was literally just thinking that, but I didn't say it yet.
You could probably cut some more from that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what else I'd cut. I'd have to look real hard and deep at it. But so I'm going to lead into then the CM Punk. Okay? CM Punk and Darby Allin, they should have led the pay-per-view off. That should have been match number one. That would have popped, energy, crowd, loud, and people probably would have ignored the fact that was a very slow-moving match. Especially for a guy like Darby Allin, who is all about quick speed, big spots. And that match felt like what we get when someone's been gone for 7 years. This is not a knock on CM Punk by any means necessary, right? If you're gone for 7 years, that was a fucking impressive performance for someone who was gone for 7 years. But let's be truthful here. Let's be honest if we're going to do this, because I love CM Punk. That's my guy, right? He's not old CM Punk right now. No, but you can laugh at that. But 3 months from now, who knows? He may be ready back in rhythm. I think it's tough to throw a guy like that in to Chicago pay-per-view, right?
Well, I think in my opinion, I feel like the match was too long. They would have been better off shortening it just a little.
So making
it more impactful.
He should have had the same style of match that the Big Show had.
Yeah.
Don't give him Darby Allin right off the bat. Give him somebody to squash. Mm-hmm. Just let him get the love, the reaction. The crowd goes crazy. CM Punk wins.
Yeah.
This opened my eyes immediately to the fact that he's not CM Punk right now. And that's okay. I want it to be clear. It's not fair to think he should be CM Punk either. Like the old CM Punk. He's 7 years older. He's 7 years removed. He's 7 years of training in a whole different fucking sport. So the fact that he came back and did what he did, dude, I'm all about this shit. I love him and I love his enthusiasm. I don't love Humble Punk, but I get Humble Punk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I want mean, nasty Punk, and it's coming. Trust me, it's coming. Well, I just got to be patient.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
But so that's my opinion on that match. If it opens up the pay-per-view, like you said, if it's not Darby Allin, it's short, it's a squash match, that would have been great. The fact that they threw him in with Darby Allin, I get it. It put a lot of eyes onto Darby Allin. Mm-hmm. I don't think it does anything negative for him.
It was who I hoped that he was going to fight when he came in. Remember?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I told you.
But see, I wish they saved that till Punk was back in Punk form.
Yeah.
Then it would be good. So here's where I think they're going with the CM Punk thing. Follow me on this.
Okay.
We get the first one out of the way, right? We get match one out of the way with CM Punk. Now they've been having those problems with, forgive me, I don't remember the group's name, but I think the guy's got the last name of Garcia. 3.0, 2.0, something like that. They're a group that they've been messing with Sting, Darby Allin, and then they kind of attack CM Punk, right?
Oh, are you talking about the ones that are with Matt Hardy?
No. There's just a group of guys. They attack CM Punk. They attack Darby Allin. They've attacked everybody. It's I don't remember their names. I'll have to look up their names. Forgive me, guys.
Let us know if you know.
Someone will know. Someone tell me who those guys are.
Yeah.
But here's where I think they're going with this. I think now, after this, now you can team up CM Punk and Darby Allin for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And have them fight against these guys, and you can hide CM Punk a little bit while he gets back in shape and in rhythm. He doesn't have to carry a match, right?
Yeah.
Because you could see him calling that match. He's not as discreet as he once was. Yeah, he kept doing the thing where he held his head and would say it.
And then you saw Darby Allin like pop up and just like go around the ring like a freaking bunny rabbit.
It was a solid match. It
wasn't horrible. No, it just was slow.
Better than a lot of other matches. It just was slow feeling. And my anticipation for CM Punk was unfairly.
Yeah.
It's unfair, but
in my mind,
I wanted
he was going to be
Punk.
like epically up here and just like best he had ever been. And
I think he'll get there. I think no doubt he gets there. Dude, I have all the faith in the world in CM Punk.
Thanks, dude.
And even if he never gets there, fuck that. At least the dude's out there putting his all into the shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the Ruby Soho thing, right?
Okay.
So Ruby Soho is now All Elite. Mm-hmm. If I'm gonna shit on people in WWE, then I'm gonna shit on people in AEW as well.
All right.
I don't get the big deal with Becky Lynch. I definitely don't understand what we're cheering about with Ruby Soho. I didn't think she was that impressive.
I'm gonna agree with you on this one. I think it's the hype of just a new person in general. It wouldn't have mattered who it was.
I think so too. I think it was just she's new, she's fresh, she's different. Now we've talked off air quite a bit about AEW needs more women personalities. They need people that look different. They have a lot of girls who look a lot alike. A lot of blonde haired.
Yep.
A lot of pretty girls running around wrestling.
It's like blonde hair, brown hair, and then that's it.
So Ruby Soho, definitely a breath of fresh air. And maybe I'm wrong on this. There's very possible that I'm wrong on this. But from what I saw in that match, she didn't look that impressive. And I will say this. Where everybody says I'm a WWE hater, WWE has the by far best women's wrestling roster. You can't argue that.
Definitely.
That's not arguable. Okay?
Charlotte, Sasha Banks.
And I don't necessarily think that they were just holding Ruby Soho or Ruby Riott down over there.
Yeah.
I just don't think there was a spot for her. So maybe she finds her spot and she finds her rhythm in All Elite Wrestling. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a little bit of an overreaction to Ruby Soho coming to AEW because she didn't give me the vibes of somebody who's just going to come in and
change the world and
keep that energy. Right. Yeah. I don't think she's going to keep that energy. From where I'm looking, she's not on Britt Baker's level. Mm-hmm. And they're going to throw her. Well, they're going to throw her right to Britt Baker here because she wins the Battle Royal, which means she gets a shot at the title. And, they're
not going to take their head person down right away,
No, I don't.
Britt Baker.
Well,
they're not going to let her lose to Ruby.
They seem to have faith in Ruby, so I don't know. I mean, they may have all the faith in the world, and I may be 110% wrong on Ruby Soho. From the eye test, using my eye test, she didn't look that impressive to me. Okay? But as just a kind of a general rule, the AEW needs to give their women wrestlers more time on screen so I can get to know them, you know, and the world can get to know them, because in that Battle Royal, I had no clue who anybody was, and we've been watching now for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And you know, there was like 3 people that I knew who they were.
Yeah.
Now, I don't watch enough Dark. I understand that. I'm going to start watching more AEW Dark. But I still think, I don't know. And I've gone back and forth and kicked this around in my head. What is wrong? Is there a problem with doing an all women's wrestling television show?
Like,
does that come off like segregated or sexist?
I don't think so, but
I mean, I know the right answer would be just feature them more on the main shows, and I'm all about that. But how big of a deal would it be to just do an all women's wrestling show, AEW?
I mean, has it ever been done?
Well, there's like Glow ever? And there's Shimmer or whatever those are. Those are all women wrestling like federations, but I don't know if there's ever been.
Wait, was Glow an actual wrestling?
Yeah, it's an old wrestling.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. Like, sometimes it kind of feels ugly to say that, to go like they need their own show, but I'm not saying it like I don't want them on the main show, because I'd rather they're just, I mean, there's fucking usually 4 or 5 matches on the main show that I think are complete garbage. Mm-hmm. I think that I would enjoy seeing more of that talent, especially in WWE. Yeah. I'll say that even more in WWE.
The girls, I think right now, are some of my favorite wrestlers.
But I think as of right now, both companies have a talent hoarding problem. And, you know, we'll see how that gets sorted out, especially in AEW now. There's a lot of names at the top of that roster.
Yeah.
I was looking at, I'm putting together a shirt that, you know, the Helvetica shirts that say like, they got like a list of people's names like Potter. Yeah. You know, Gryffindor, whatever, all the different stuff there. Yes. I want one that says like Danielson, Jericho, Moxley, Punk. Yeah. But I started looking, I'm like, there's a lot of names to put on that shirt.
All right.
Same with WWE. You got Reigns, Orton, Rollins. And that's a good problem to have, but they're going to have to figure out how to make use of all that talent, both of them.
For sure.
All right, let's get into my SmackDown thoughts from last Friday. Even though it seems like such a long time ago, I do want to talk about it.
Okay. So
next week we're getting a Super SmackDown. Am I right?
Yes.
What the fuck is a Super SmackDown?
You know, like a Super SmackDown,
like,
bro.
So always WWE has these weird things they do, right? And they're all in reaction, I feel like, to they keep screaming AEW isn't competition.
Yeah.
And then they do these weird things that make it seem like AEW's in competition, right? So we're doing a Super SmackDown, which is like a SmackDown, but it's super. Okay?
How do you supersize it?
I guess it just means if Brock Lesnar shows up, it's got to be bigger, because Brock Lesnar won't fucking come to SmackDown, right?
True.
Brock Lesnar doesn't do Raw, and he doesn't do SmackDown. But you know what Brock Lesnar will do?
What?
Super SmackDowns. He will come if it's a Super SmackDown. And I'm excited, right? Because we're going to get to see, we're going to further the story of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Now, is this Brock Lesnar showing up to keep us interested and then he disappears another 6 weeks?
Probably.
Probably so, right?
Yeah.
I made a mistake the other week. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I said that the Royal Rumble was the next big pay-per-view.
Okay.
Survivor Series is considered a fairly big pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know where that falls in the calendar this year, but it usually is a fairly big. I don't even know if there is a Survivor Series anymore, but it used to be a fairly big pay-per-view. Next is Extreme Rules. I don't think we get Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules. I think we're going to get Demon Finn Balor with that little tease of the heartbeat, the boom, boom that went on.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to double down on my Becky Lynch comments from last week, right? Because I've pissed off a lot of people, but I'm going to double
myself for this.
I'm going to double down on this, right? Everybody came at me, well, Becky Lynch is the new Stone Cold. They're doing where she's a heel, but they cheer her. They're not doing that. That's not what's happening here. Becky Lynch doesn't know how to commit to the heel role. She just can't make the turn, or WWE is extremely hesitant about turning her because she's a moneymaker. And if we know anything about WWE, storylines do not take precedence over who sells t-shirts, right?
True.
To me, as of right now, Becky Lynch just comes off goofy.
Yeah.
She comes off goofy. And so you got Bianca Belair who's going out there. Give me the match. I want the match.
Yeah.
And it's this goofy. No.
It's like a genuineness from Bianca.
No.
Exactly.
This whole thing that's like a half-ass. Like, so are we turning Becky Lynch into like a comedic heel? Is that where we're going? Because that's a bad idea. I don't get where they're going. But as far as I'm concerned, right now, Becky Lynch is goofy. And she doesn't need to be.
I think it's what you said is that WWE doesn't want to commit her to anything.
They're just dipping their toe in the heel
Exactly.
water with her. That's all they're doing. Shinsuke Nakamura and Ricky Boogs. I think that's his name, Ricky Boogs, right? I like them. They're good.
Yeah.
Even though we both kind of said, did Ricky Boogs take Elias's his little shtick?
Yeah, he's over there with the freaking guitar, and I'm like, why did they take Elias's guitar away?
Is that why Elias threw his guitar in the fire? Because he was like, hey, fuck this shit. They got another guy with a guitar. I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
Who said it? Was it, I don't know if it was Pat McAfee or somebody said, but the greatest line of SmackDown was, take a ride on the Boogs cruise.
I don't know.
I like that line.
Okay.
I got here Dolph Ziggler. I guess we're done with Dolph.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad because Dolph is the most underappreciated, underrespected wrestler in WWE to me ever, right? A guy who put in so much work. He was so over at one point around, I want to say it was like 2011, 2012, 13, that time.
Well, when I first started getting into wrestling, and you introduced me to it, I didn't know that much. He was one of my first favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because he just had this like funness about him,
He's just good. And I think I think his time has come and went, and he's relegated to the guy who makes everybody else look really good. So rest in peace, Dolph Ziggler, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Nice
I wish they would give him a push just out of nowhere. Get him out of this tag team shit. Let him go out there and just one last run for Dolph Ziggler would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm sold on Bianca Belair. 100%. I'm
Me
sold.
too. I like her a lot.
I like her a lot. Probably my favorite female wrestler right now in WWE, which says a lot because I really like Sasha Banks.
Me too.
And I do like Becky Lynch. I don't
like
dislike her. I
Naomi
just don't
too.
know why I'm supposed to care. I like Naomi. They're doing that weird thing with her where she keeps asking for a match. And who is the general manager? What's her name again? I forgot.
I don't know.
I don't remember her name.
Who cares?
She's
We'll
a
figure it
wrestler.
out. Somebody will tell us.
I hate when they make wrestlers general managers.
It's the girl with the black hair, right?
Yeah, but I am sold on Bianca Belair. Big fan of Bianca Belair. I hope that they correct what they fucked up at SummerSlam. And yes, that was a stupid way to have that match. Anybody can come at me with anything they want. Having Becky Lynch squash Bianca Belair made zero fucking sense.
Yeah.
Stupid, right?
I mean, you mentioned to me that it just basically nullified anything that Bianca Belair had done up to that point.
Yeah, I think it discredits Sasha Banks, and I think it does a huge disservice to Bianca Belair for her to get squashed by Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Stupid WWE. I try to say nice things, and then y'all do shit like this, and you make the internet call me a WWE hater.
Try to be nice to you.
I
try it.
Last but not least, Seth Rollins is my current favorite WWE superstar. He is a breath of fresh air. I love the fact that he makes himself relevant without needing to be in a title picture. What him and Edge have going on is fun. It is exciting. It is interesting. It's different. It's not something that I recognize as being done before. I like the idea that Seth Rollins is infatuated with Edge, that he's using his moves in other matches. He's starting to copy some of his mannerisms with the big crazy eyes. Seth Rollins is good right now. Seth Rollins has been good. The Monday Night Messiah, he keeps recreating himself. There's a belief I have that Seth Rollins could possibly end up after a full career as maybe the greatest wrestler of all time. I think he has all the tools in the toolbox to do it. He cuts a good promo, he's good in the ring, and he keeps recreating himself in interesting and fun ways. It's the same props that I give to Jericho and call Jericho the GOAT right now. I think Seth Rollins has all of those tools in his toolbox. I think Seth Rollins could be possibly at the end of his career, the greatest wrestler of all time. I'm not saying at this point he is. He's got a long ways to go, and I'm sure he's got a lot of career left. But if he keeps putting up these 5-star matches and the impressive character changes and he just keeps people interested without being in the title picture. Like Roman Reigns needs the belt.
Yeah.
That makes Roman relevant. And that's okay. Certain guys need that, right? Certain guys need the belt to become the big tough guy. And I love what's going on with Roman Reigns. This is the best Roman Reigns we've ever had. Head of the table. I told you in the car yesterday, I fucking hate the Usos, but not from a personal standpoint. I hate the Usos because they're good bad guys.
Yeah.
They're
Which
good. Like
makes them good wrestlers.
SmackDown has done a good job of making me dislike the heel.
Yeah.
Which I normally don't. I usually find heels gimmicky or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I like that I dislike the Usos.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Want to talk real quickly though about go over this the WWE's women's roster, right?
Yeah.
It's broken up right now between Raw and SmackDown. And I've been a huge proponent of let's take the best of the best, put them on one show, and let's let Raw be not developmental, but kind of the undercard, right, of the week. Let's put the fire on SmackDown, and let's let the people who need to work their way up to SmackDown be on Raw.
Yeah.
USA Network would fucking hate that, but I'm playing fantasy booking here. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm doing, right?
Okay.
What would happen if WWE just said fuck it and combined the women's roster?
Oh. Epicness would happen is what would happen.
The women's roster is better than their men's roster for sure. Their women's roster blows away AEW's roster. If there was a succession of like the women's roster on WWE, if they just left and started their own thing, it would be epic. We're talking Charlotte Flair. We're talking Becky Lynch. We're talking Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, all on the same show, right? Asuka, Bayley, Rhea Ripley, Nikki Ash, Liv Morgan, and I'm sure I'm fucking leaving out names, right?
Yeah.
But you start talking, that's a solid roster. Why are we splitting these people up?
That's your woman's only show right there.
That's my point, but why are we splitting this group up? Let's let them battle it out. They are far more interesting than 90% of what goes on Monday Night. No, this group of talented wrestlers are far more interesting, 100% more interesting than what happens on Monday Night Raw, and about 80% more interesting than what happens on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I mean, this brand split shit is stupid, and people keep telling me, but it's not fair. But it's not supposed to be fair. It's supposed to be the best product we can put on TV.
Yeah.
You think Fox cares if it's fair to USA? No, they don't care. Fox wants the best product. Put the best product. I don't like, you know what's better than half a pizza?
A full
pizza, right? Like having everything I want.
Uh-huh.
So I don't get it. I don't get it. I wish we could get a full-on women's division.
Never happen.
No, it's not going to happen. I mean, they're going to keep it split up. Keeping Alexa Bliss away from Bianca Belair and I don't know where Bayley is. I'm not sure what show she's on. But if you just put all those women on one show, god damn, it would be fire.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least for this week, I want to go over the top 5 wrestling things I'm excited about this week.
Okay.
I'm excited for more Bianca Belair.
Yes.
Hopefully they right the ship that is wrong with this Becky Lynch stuff. Let's turn Becky heel. Let's do it. Just do it. Turn her heel. Just go. Okay? Turn her heel. Let's do it. Let's quit fucking around. Let's let Bianca be the face. Let's let Becky be the heel. Or if we're not going to commit to that, let Bianca be the heel. I'm sure she can fucking handle it. But stop with this dipping a toe in the water because it's only hurting Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Or get her away from Becky Lynch and let her do something relevant. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited for more Bianca Belair. I'm sold. I ordered the t-shirt. I'm a fucking fan. I'm ready to go. Okay.
You did.
Number 2, CM Punk. It's time. Can we get rid of Humble Punk now?
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm ready to go. But can we get rid of CM Punk? He wasn't 100% Punk, and that's okay. Like I said, 7 years, you get that buffer, right? We appreciate you're back. I'm happy you're back. Let's go. Let's get it moving. Keep it moving, dude. I know you're going to be back in full form in about 3 months. Let's go into this. Let's put Punk and Darby Allin as a tag team. Let Darby carry him for a couple weeks. Not that he needs carrying, but he just can get back in shape. That's all he needs.
Yeah.
Punk just needs to get back in shape, and he's a killer. He's a killer in the ring.
Yes, sir.
Once Punk's back in shape, Jesus Christ. Stop switching the damn camera so much. What the hell is happening there? MJF, number 3. I am excited to see where this goes with MJF because I don't know where you go with MJF after that.
Yeah.
You spent all this time building him up over Jericho, then Jericho gets the win. Is he going to come back and complain about the referee situation? Because that's what the fuck I would do.
Yep.
I'd be like, why do we have instant replay now? Why do we got secondary referees fixing the match? I won. They counted 1, they counted 2, they counted 3. I don't give a shit where Jericho's leg was. MJF won that match. MJF needs to be in the title picture, even though the top of the AEW is so fucking crowded. Number 4. I am excited about Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah.
And Bryan Danielson. How does AEW handle this influx of talent? There are so many names at the top of AEW right now. You've got Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, Christian Cage, probably not going anywhere. Adam Cole, baby. You got CM Punk, who's going to hang around, and once he's back in shape, you've got MJF, you've got Jericho. Cody's got to come back at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Malachi Black is hanging around. There's a lot of big names in AEW right now.
Moxley, bro.
Moxley doesn't look like he's interested in the title.
I like
I think he's happy fucking with these Japanese guys. I think that's where Moxley's good, and that's great. Moxley's kind of the hardcore. I always wanted to compare Moxley to Stone Cold, but it almost feels like he may be more like Mankind.
Okay.
Just on his own fucking pizza cutters and shit like that.
Yeah.
Winning the GCW or something like that, or GCC, whatever it was.
GCW,
that hardcore wrestling. He went over there and kicked Matt Cardona's ass.
Yeah.
God damn. I mean, fucking Moxley doing his thing. And last but not least, number 5 thing I'm most excited for, which is really the number 1 thing I'm most excited for.
Okay.
I want to see where Seth Rollins is going. Where is he taking this character? I'm excited. This whole Edge infatuation is amazing. I want to see where this transformation goes. How far is he going to go with the infatuation of Edge? Is he going to straight on become Edge?
Yeah.
Are we going to get like Edge 2.0? Because I love it. I'm so in on that. But that has been another episode of the Not Too Nerdy Wrestling Podcast. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, TikTok, and your favorite podcast network. Each and every Monday and Thursday, I will give you all my hot takes in the world of wrestling. As always, I am Nerdy D. That is Level Up Lauren, and this is Good Night.